might just be you and I. Sometimes people jump in, but as you know, perfecting your conversations, we kind of talk through some of the conversations that we have, when we're calling, when we're doing lead generation, maybe not even calling, it could be, through text message or whatever. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is something that I feel like a lot of agents tend to bring up, and it's when they're calling people they know. So like calling people you don't know can be hard, but sometimes calling people you do know can be hard, right? I've had agents say, I don't want to sound too salesy, or I don't want to sound like I'm calling just to get business from them, right? Because these are people you know and care about. So I'm not sure how many calls you've done and if you've been reaching out to people that you know really well or maybe don't know as well. But Denise, what are some things that you've done, or maybe what are some like ways that you've started that conversation when you're calling someone you know?
I'll start off by asking more of on a personal level. Since we know each other, how's family, how's work going? Pretty much what's been happening in their life first, and ease into the conversation about real estate.
I love that. Yes, absolutely. With people you know, you want to catch up. You want to see how they are. You want to show that you take interest in them. I mean, you want to show people you don't know that you take interest in them, but these are people you know. And so it's funny because I think sometimes it should feel easier, but sometimes it'll be harder. But I love what you just said, right? Talking about family, asking how work's going, what's been going on in your life, what's going on in their life. One of the things that Kelly Williams always talks about when trying to connect with someone and relate with them and showing them that you care about what's going on with them is something called Ford. Have we talked about that together, Denise?
I don't recall.
All right. Well, all I got to tell you is you hit 2 of them already. So I'm going to use the whiteboard to share and kind of write out what those things are. But you already talked about 2 of them. That's how good you are.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So FORD. And this is just the way to remember it. And these are things that you can talk about, or conversation starters, or ways to kind of do that small talk that, how are you? Checking in, seeing how they're doing. You have any idea what that F might be?
Friendly conversation.
So you've already said it. What's something that you might ask about if you're calling someone and you want to see how they are? What might you ask them?
About family?
Yes, you might ask how their family is, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of the ones that you mentioned. The other one you mentioned was work. So what do you think that O might be? It's related to work.
I'm not certain. Related to work?
I just wrote it. It's occupation. So.
Occupation. No.
Yep. So
right
off the bat, you told me 2 of them, right? So this means you're on a great start with calling people. You know what to talk about when you call them, and I love that. All right. And you kind of alluded to this too. R is recreation. So, what are you up to? What have you been doing, right? That might be that they like to travel. So you ask about traveling. Maybe they have a weekly card game, or they play basketball, or, whatever it is that they like to do, go to wineries, you might ask about, have you been to any good wineries recently? Whatever it is that that they like to do, or maybe you're sharing what you like to do. And then this last one is dreams. So things that they might be hoping to achieve or aspire to do. Maybe that eventually they want to get a camper and a boat, and every weekend in the summer they want to, take their camper out and go on the boat in the lake, whatever it is. But these different things, Ford, can be things to get a conversation going, right? If you're calling a check-in, rather than just say, hey, how are you? And they might just say, oh, I'm fine, doing okay. And then conversation ends. right? This can be a way to kind of keep the conversation going. Now, you want to do this in a natural way, in a way that would be natural to you talking to someone that you know well. So you're not going to just be like, how's your family? How's your occupation? How's your recreation? What are your dreams? You know, like it's going to be a little bit more natural. And these are just ideas for how to talk around these topics. So you could say, how's the family? You might say, oh, how's work been going? You know, have you been working remotely? Have you been working in person? You know, if you were remote, when are you going back? You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can talk about this. Maybe, you know, they got a new job or they're thinking about one. Again, recreation can be knowing those things that they like to do. Dreams might even tie into, you know, do you have any real estate goals this year? Or do you know anyone who does? So there's a couple of different ways that we can move from forward and asking these questions to then talking about real estate. One being that one I just mentioned, right? Dreams. It could be, you know, do you have any real estate goals this year? Know anybody that does or have any in the future? You know, maybe they're like, yeah, 5 years from now, I'd really like to have a beach house. You never know. The other way that it might come up is occupation. Now, Denise, if you know each other, you and I know each other really well, and you're the agent, you're calling me, and you're like, hey, Rachel, how's work going? And I answer, what might I say to you after I tell you how work is going for me? What might I say to you?
Related to the real estate, asking me, have I thought about buying or
if you're the agent, pretend I don't work at Keller Williams. I'm your friend who works at the University of Maryland. You're the agent. You asked me how work was. I tell you how, oh, work's great, blah, blah, blah. What might I, as your friend and you, the agent, what might I ask you? If you ask me how my work is, what might I ask you?
how's things going with me?
Yeah, I might say to you, oh, Denise, this, you know, work's going, blah, blah, blah. How's your work going? Right? So asking that, you know, and then immediately there's your in to talk about real estate. So I think that's one of the hardest things sometimes when it's someone we know, we don't want to jump into like, hey, can I get business from you? Because that feels like you're just in it for business and not to catch up and see how they're doing. And, you know, it should be a little bit of both, right? Because you do care about these people. They're in your sphere. They're your close friends or family, but you did call them to talk about real estate. But if you ask them, hey, how's work going? And I say, oh, it's going great, blah, blah, blah. I just got, you know, this new project. It seems really exciting. Chances are I'm going to say to you, how's your work going? Now, Denise, I know you, and I know you have like 5 jobs. Maybe only 3, but you have more than 2. You have at least 3. If I'm your friend and I say to you, how's your work? Or how's your job? How are you going to answer that?
I probably would talk a little bit about all of them really briefly.
All right. What are you going to start with?
I would start off with probably the CDL one, because the real estate is the one I would want to talk more about. So I would make that kind of the last of, you know, conversation.
Okay.
But like I said, I would talk about the first one really, really briefly. And then I would move in, you know, to have more time to speak on real estate and going on with that.
All right. So if you want to talk about all of them, you can. I think you're right. You want to talk about really briefly because what you really want to talk to me about real estate. That's why you called. I think you could also start with real estate and have a really big, long conversation and make sure you talk about all that and then mention the other things if you have time and if it comes up. Because you don't want to, I would just be careful because you don't want to be talking about the CDL too much. And then they go, oh, shoot, you know, look what time it is. I got to go. And then you didn't get to talk about real estate.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll say, a lot of them always say when people are dual career, she'll say, if someone asks how work was, always talk about real estate. Forget the other one. Talk about real estate because that's what's going to get you to kind of get them thinking about real estate. So not to say that you have to completely ignore your other jobs because you shouldn't, but I would encourage you to also make sure that you're talking about real estate and bringing that up because about every 2 weeks, someone will forget that you're in real estate. You could tell them now, a month from now, they will forget until something prompts them to remind them. You talking about real estate will remind them, so it can stay top of mind, so they think of you when they need somebody.
Right. That's true. Yeah,
Cool.
You want to spend as much time on the subject of real estate as possible.
Exactly. And that's going to make it the more natural flow too. If you're saying, oh my gosh, I just got into real estate. It's so exciting. I'm learning all this stuff. God, Coach Rachel's amazing. And I'm just kidding. But you're talking about all the stuff that you're learning and, saying that you're really excited to start working with people. Then it can be like, oh, like, hey, by the way, do you have any real estate needs this year? Or any goals, or do you know anybody that I can help? Because I'm really excited to jump in there and do it. And then it makes it so much more natural because it came up in conversation. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Cool. Do you want to practice it with me?
Sure.
Cool. All right. You're the agent. I'm your friend or family member, whoever you want me to be. And you're going to call me and just kind of run through this to try to bring up real estate. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, you call me.
Okay. Hi,
Hello?
Rachel.
Hey,
Hi,
Denise,
Rachel.
how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Did you watch the Super Bowl the other night?
I don't watch the Super Bowl.
That halftime
I'm not
show.
a sports person. Do you like the Super Bowl in sports?
I do. I'm a big sports fan, and that halftime show was awesome.
Yeah, and that part I like about the Super Bowl. The
Yep.
entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what's been going on with you?
Not too much, trying to keep busy. Work's keeping me busy, but I was test driving some cars, so I might buy a car in like the next year, but just trying to stay warm. It's so cold outside.
Right. Well, I know at one time you were thinking about buying a home. You gonna do that before buying a home? Buy your car, because I know that leaves you with not much money. They'll look at your budget with that, unless you plan on paying it, straight out.
Oh yeah, it'll depend. I'm not sure. Like I was just kind of test driving cars because I don't need one yet, but I might down the road. I have an older car. I'm not planning to buy probably for a year. So buy the car for a year. So that's probably not an issue. I think I got us off topic, Denise. All right, let's come back to Ford. Let's say I answer the phone.
I'm sorry.
Walk me through.
My phone went out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're good. Let's come back to Ford, because I think we got off track because I mentioned buying a car. But you did get me to talk to real estate, because in this case, it's someone that you knew was thinking about buying real estate. So let's assume that maybe you don't know if this person is interested in buying real estate. How might you bring it up? So you want to go back and try it? All right. So,
Sure.
Hey, Denise, thanks for calling.
Hi, how you doing? Oh, how you
I'm
been?
doing good. I'm doing good. I'm good. How have you been?
I've been doing pretty well. Been busy, trying to keep busy,
I hear that. Seems like it's that time of year.
Yes. Always. Well, right after Christmas,
Yeah,
you're trying to get your money together. Mm-hmm.
true.
So how's work going with you and family?
Yeah, work and family are good. My dad was just visiting, so he seems to be doing pretty good. We had a good weekend. Work's pretty good. It's busy. I got a new project that I'm working on, but it seems to be going well. I'm kind of excited about it. How are things with you? How's the family? How's work?
The family is pretty good. Everybody's healthy.
Good.
Work, the real estate market, it's booming and it's great. And I've been, talking to plenty of people, looking into buying homes and selling their home and all. Speaking of that,
Right. I forgot that you got into real estate. That's really exciting.
yeah, I love it. I absolutely love
Awesome.
it. Speaking of real estate, and while I'm talking to you, when you're going to be my client? When are we going to go look for a home?
Oh, I don't know, Denise. I mean, I've thought about getting out of my apartment and buying a house, but it sounds like it's really hard to buy right now. Like with the market, it sounds like there's not a lot of houses.
Oh, no, it's plenty. And I'm gonna tell you, you want to get it the sooner the better, because the money you're giving that landlord, that can be going towards your home. You want to get your home and pay it off as soon as possible. And the sooner you get started, the sooner you'll be paid off and living in your home, your real estate, mortgage free.
I love that, Denise. Good job. You're right. I don't want to give any more money to the landlord. I like putting it into my mortgage. That was awesome. Thanks so much, Denise. I threw you the curveball at the end because I wanted to see how you'd handle me saying there aren't a lot of houses. And there aren't a ton of houses, but the truth is, the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to find one. And I think that's what you were hitting at. And then you were like, you don't want to give money to somebody else. I love that.
Thank you.
How did that feel?
Felt pretty natural. Honestly, that's kind of the two friends of mine now. That's kind of how I got them started.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were worried about their credit and all. And I told them, the whole process. I said, you're at the, best part of it.
Awesome.
Right. I let them speak to the lender. Actually, we're working with Patrick, and both of them are.
Great.
Yeah, and I told them this is the best time because when you're buying a house, you get a little anxious and all. At least at this point, you got to straighten out your credit and things. So it kind of calms you down, and it makes the process a lot more fun than trying to find something right now. Can't find exactly what you're looking for. So everything happens in due time. Just be patient. Good. Do what you've been doing. Let's get get things started. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. We have a couple minutes left. Do you have any questions about making lead gen calls, or have you run into any issues or anything you wanted to talk about?
Well, I do. So I've ran into a lot of new people, and I do mention that I work with real estate, and I can't seem to get them to bite. Like they'll listen and go, oh, okay, and I'll go on a little further, looking for people and things like that, but they never ever say they know anyone. Yeah.
So are these people that you didn't know previously that you're just kind of meeting and you're mentioning that you're in real estate, or are these people that you know? Oh, these are new people you don't know originally. Okay. Correct. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think sometimes they aren't going to bite, like we sometimes have to talk to, what's the average? Is it something like 25 people about real estate to get potentially like one lead? So it could just be a numbers game. I mean, I know that in your line, you probably talk to a lot of people, but it could just be finding the right people. If you want, we can run through, like, how does that normally come up, or how do you bring it up in a conversation, or what do you tell them when you talk about being in real estate?
Well, basically it's come up, I just meet them because they're always on my second job with the events and all. And usually, they'd say that, they're not from Maryland. They might have flown from out of town to come to the wedding event and things like that. And then I'll start, asking them questions about their hometown and how do they like it here and stuff like that. And then I'll get into the conversation of me being a real estate agent and, asking them, do they know of anyone that's even interested where they live and looking for a home, because I know we could do referrals and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, talking about how you're part of this big network and you could even find someone in their hometown. That's a great angle.
Right. And usually they'll say, no, I don't know anybody right now, or something like that. And of course, I'm taking them to the next location. So that conversation gets cut off pretty quickly. because it's not like a
Sure.
lot of long distance driving. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know you were talking at one point about making business cards. Is that something you've done or you're still planning on doing?
I think I'm planning on doing it because I believe that that may be the thing that may help. I mean, it's nothing etched in stone, but at least they have something to chew on. Because I'm thinking, to them, even though they know I'm their driver for my company, but I'm still a complete stranger. And a lot of times people don't feel comfortable giving you all the information. So I figured if I have the cards or something, I can say, well, here's my card. If you find anyone or you're interested or anything, I can take it a little further and know that
Yeah.
I landed that there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So-
Because, to your point, like normally we'd say, try to get their contact info, say you'll follow up. But I think knowing that you don't have a ton of time to talk to them, like if you were standing in line with someone at the grocery store, you'd have a little bit more time to potentially like have that conversation. It could last longer even than the line versus you're in the bus, you're driving them to the next location, and you're also trying to pay attention to the road, right?
Right.
And, so I can understand. I mean, I think business cards could be a way. I think you could still see if you could take their info and send it to them, but if you have a business card, that would work too. I'm trying to think. I think you need to
Yeah,
find the
usually-
people. We need to find the people that are local, although chances are maybe they're driving themselves. They don't need the bus. I don't know.
Well, if they do, they usually going inside the event by the time we get there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know you're
Yeah.
not going in. You're not going into the wedding to find them. We need the
No.
people who are local but still want the convenience of a shuttle bus.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And see, like I agree, say with my phone, we have to use the app and all for that
Mhm.
job. So my phone is running. I can't take
Gotcha.
the information in. Right. So that's why I said I think the business cards would definitely help. I mean, if they're truly interested or they know someone, they'll be able to say, hey, it's me. Remember me? You know what I mean? And I'll be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
the kind of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still working on the business cards.
Yeah.
I moved a little further with all that kind of stuff. I just kept having little bumps in the road with, the other document kind
Yeah.
of thing. But we'll talk about that. Yeah. I don't want to
Okay.
take up all the class time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks. Thanks for joining us for perfecting your conversation. It would have been quite lonely without you. But see, you got specialized time, right? It was just you and me. Are you joining us for group coaching in a little bit?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, then I'll let you go take a break and I'll see you in like 15 minutes.
Okay. It's just you and I in class today?
No, just now it was, well, Mike's here.
I'm here.
Sorry, not,
Hello, Mike.
there was nobody else on, I don't mean to discount Mike. Mike's great. But we probably wouldn't have done group practice if it was just he and I. But
Okay.
hopefully for group coaching, we'll have some more people join.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
Yeah.
See you in a few.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.